Well, let me do number 2 for your local media. I'm actually going to teach in a little while, but I'm just covering some of my notes. And I'm covering what I mentioned on the first video, writing it, adding links. And some of you local media, all of you, Nick Jimenez and Colder Times, you said, and I wrote on it, so I better clarify it. You say, how, John, did we, the Colder Times, cover up a crime by a local judge and do front page coverage? What are you speaking about? Let me tell you from my experience. At the fire department, for many years, we would go to what we referred to as 1050 major accidents. 1050 was the 10 code we used for a major wreck on the highway. Highway 77, going through Kingsville, coming up here. And there were times where people were going twice over the speed limit. And if you were doing that and you hit a civilian, say if you're doing 75, where a zone says 35, the speed limit says 35 and you're doing 75, and you hit somebody, you're going to be checked for whether you were drinking, and you're going to be checked whether you were on your phone texting or talking. And I see people, just the other day, somebody was cutting in front of me, talking. I saw an old man texting. I was pulling out, I think, on my motorcycle. Okay? And you even had a friend of a friend is just, I don't know if he went to jail. I think they're trying him for like a murder thing. It was here in Flower Bluff. It was a local case. A girl had, at night, she had her phone on top of her vehicle. She got out of her vehicle and somebody hit her. Somebody I knew at night. But you had a local judge. His name is Manuel Bannales. He's a long-haired judge. He wears real long hair, and he's like a real tough on crime. A few years ago, he was doing 75 on one of the turns that I ride here in Corpus Christi. The speed limit posted is 35. Just about. It might be 30. He was doing twice the speed limit. And there was, I believe it was a highway worker. And he hit that guy. And if I remember, he flipped that guy over the area like a little bridge. So it made it to the paper. And the Colder Times began doing front page articles on why Judge Bannales faced 0. I don't even think he got a ticket for it. And then they had the goal, the local media, who refer to us as fake news. They did it. It was almost funny if it wasn't so sad. They began explaining. First, he was not investigated for, I don't even think they checked him for DUI. And I believe some of it seemed like he was texting or whatever. But then, the fact that he was doing twice the speed limit and ran into a civilian, which the local DA Gonzalez says, we're going to take these cases serious. And they know each other here. That's your couple. They did a whole couple of days front page story on why what Mr. Bannales did. He's married to another local, I think it's Peggy Bannales. Now, what happened to him was 0. He went and became a judge down in the valley. And I believe he still lives here. How did he get away with that? Nothing. And the Colder Times did a whole thing to cover up for him. They said first, I'll never forget this, which was false. They said if you're doing twice the speed limit, 70-something, and you hit somebody, you swerved off, and it was a worker who I believe he suffered severe injuries, that man. They said, the Colder Times said, when it says 35 on these turns, where we have a lot of wrecks, we have a real bad one up by Cal Allen, they said, that's just recommended. The posted sign that says 35 on this turn, that's just recommended. But being it's a state highway, the actual speed limit is really 75 or 70 or whatever. And they explained in depth why they covered for their friend, for their Kabul is what they did. Because you as a citizen clip somebody, then the Colder Times had the goal, within the year or whatever, they did a whole article on speeds on highways. I remember this. And they said, officers can pull you over for various reasons. I read the article, I read the paper. They said, for instance, if you're doing the speed limit, and the speed limit is posted, whatever, 60, they said if there's hazardous conditions, rain or whatever, and they feel that 60 is maybe dangerous, though it says 60, they said they could still pull you over because that could be considered dangerous if Then it said in the same article, if I remember correctly, it said, but if you're going under the speed limit, just on a regular day, that could also be considered dangerous, and that's the right to pull you over. And of course, if you're going over, and it was so funny, it was so sad. If you're going under, you're doing it, or you're going over, look, that could be a crime. But if you're doing 75 on a 30, you almost kill somebody, and your local connected judge, the Colder Times will go out of their way to explain why all of that is acceptable. That's what I was talking about. And he's connected with this Kabul here. And he's probably personal friends with Nick Jimenez. Because they've all been. I go by the Galvan Ballroom. Used to be, it's on Laredo Street because we did a halfway house. And the connections locally of judges in corruption and crime. And when I saw the Colder Times cover for that, Bannales, with the long hair, and he was like a tough on crime, you let him get away with a crime, and that man's on the bench. This is the same community. I wasn't so against there was a lady judge we had here, and she was an immigrant, but she wasn't a citizen. And so we found out she wasn't a citizen. I forget Burkett, something Burkett. She's married to a local defense attorney, lawyer, Nathan Burkett. Made national headlines because she wasn't a citizen. You got to be a citizen and be eligible to vote to be a judge. But all the rulings she made. And then they came out and they reinstated her. They let her get a citizenship and all. And the Colder Times, when they did this thing with Bannales, and I remember it, they said they're not concerned about it. They are fake news and they covered up. I'll do that one so you'll know what I was talking about.